Welcome to this session. We are going now to look at the characteristics of living things. Living things, as we have said earlier, you'll find that living things are different from the non-living things, in that the living things, they have the ability to carry out life processes, and these life processes that are carried out by living things are what we refer to as the characteristics of living things. One of the characteristics of all living things, they carry out what we refer to as nutrition. If we are looking at plants, plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis using carbon dioxide and sunlight. Whereas animals, they depend on plants and take in the already manufactured food. So that is one of the characteristics of living things. Producing food by plants and taking in food which is already manufactured by living organisms. Another characteristic of living things is respiration. There is exchange of gases within the organism and the environment. All living things respire. Animals take in oxygen and they release out carbon dioxide, whereas the plants will take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. That is a characteristic of living thing, which we are referring to as respiration. Then another characteristic is excretion. Removal of waste materials from the organism. We remove from animals urea, we remove toxic materials like ammonia, uric acid, carbon dioxide. From plants, we remove oxygen as a waste material, and the removal of those waste materials is what we refer to as excretion. And all living things have this characteristic of removing of waste materials from their bodies. Then we have another characteristic is that of locomotion. You will find that all living things have this characteristic. They have the ability to move from one place to another. But the mobility in plants is limited. They can only move by growth, whereas animals have that ability to move from one place to another. As they are looking for food, they are looking for shelter, and they are looking also for mate. That is a characteristic of locomotion. Then we have another characteristic of all living things, which is reproduction. Living things reproduce themselves to fill the next generation. Because all living things die, there is that necessity of producing other living things so that they can carry on the generation to another generation. Plants will reproduce others via seeds and vegetative propagation, and animals reproduce by giving birth to other organisms of the same kind. That is a characteristic of reproduction which is very common to all living things. Then another one is growth. All living things grow. They increase in size. The cells increase in size and also increase in number. That is growth, a characteristic of living things. Then another one is irritability. Irritability, this is a characteristic whereby the organisms are able to sense the changes in their environment. In animals, it is done by the help of the nervous system, whereas in plants, it is done by growth. So when we are using our nervous system to sense the change in temperature, to sense the change in light, we use the characteristic of irritability. We have looked at nutrition, we have looked at respiration, we have looked at growth, we have looked at irritability, we have looked at locomotion, and we have looked at respiration. Next time when we come back, we shall look at the differences between these organisms, the plants and the animals. Thank you.